Welcome to another episode of the Good Guys podcast. My name is Brandon Dixon. I am a happily married man and a humble father of four, and as always, I am joined by none other than the Honorable, the Reverend Slim Rev, aka Joshua Ezzy.
That's what I'm talking about, BD. You a man of the people. The people convinced you.
I finally came around, man.
I know you was waiting. You was trying to wait 3 weeks to see if I get fat again.
I've seen it come, I've seen it go. I just want to make sure it's real this time. That's all.
It's real.
I just want to make sure it's real.
It's like you this season of the podcast. It's real this time.
Oh, I see you with the clap back.
Yeah. I had a good thing of watermelon before this episode. I'm ready to go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Fully hydrated and everything.
Oh, yeah. Wife cut the watermelon to perfect chunks, bro. I was down there for a good 15 minutes. I had to think about my wife. I said, man, this watermelon about to get gone.
Okay. All right. Well, we've definitely got a great show today. And before I get started, I want to say thank you for all of our loyal listeners, subscribers, viewers. If you haven't subscribed already, okay, hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the post notifications so that you know anytime that we're coming out with new content here on the Good Guys podcast. But again,
it's good to see that notification gang out there. Gang.
Gang. Notification gang responded with the quickness.
Let's go.
I like it. All right. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started. J.E., are you ready, my friend?
Man, let's go. We born ready, son.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started, as we normally do, with the weekly airing of grievances. And I've got one today that is an injustice that must be discussed. So, I went to, as you guys know, I've relocated to Texas. So, there's a lot of good food down here. A lot of good restaurants. And there's some new places that I've tried since I've come down here. One of those places is a place called Bush's Chicken. All right. It's kind of similar. It's kind of in the vein with KFC, Bojangles, the Popeyes of the world. Like, okay, look, I'm not comparing it. I'm not comparing it. I'm not being disrespectful.
Okay. Just checking in.
I'm just saying it's a fast food restaurant that serves fried chicken.
Okay. Just certain things shouldn't be in the same sentence as Bojangles, bro.
You're right. I was probably out of pocket there. And for that, I apologize.
We forgive you.
Okay. Moving on. So I went to Bush's Chicken. Heard it was good. Wanted to check it out. Okay. I get the food. I get the chicken. I get some sides. Okay. Of course I'm going to get mac and cheese. Okay. Of course I'm going to get, they had some green beans that were really good. Or that they highly recommended. So I got the green beans. I got some rolls with it. And I may have got fries. I'm not sure. Okay. But anyway, I get back to the house, eating the chicken. Chicken's good. It's not Bojangles, but it's good.
I figured.
It's good. The green beans are good. No complaints there. Actually seasoned really well. Those were some good green beans. So my hopes are up. I'm like, okay, the fried chicken was okay. The green beans were pretty good. I get to the mac and cheese, Josh. This was the most watery, soupy, runny, nasty macaroni and cheese. I have a hard time calling this macaroni and cheese what I had at Bush's Chicken. I could have gone to the store and got Easy Mac in less than a minute and made something that was better than what they gave me. Okay, I was highly disappointed, and I'm just it's a recurring theme that I'm noticing. Fast food restaurants never have good macaroni and cheese, and I don't know why. And here's why I'm concerned, Josh.
Okay.
A beacon of light in the game, a staple in the game. Okay? A model of consistency. Chick-Fil-A has been reported to be coming with a macaroni and cheese side dish. And I'm legitimately worried. Because the track record's not good. Even Bojangles, Josh.
Oh.
Their mac and cheese is not it. When you go to Bojangles, you don't get mac and cheese.
There's only two sides that get at Bojangles. That's the fries and the dirty rice.
There you
That's
go.
it. That's as far as I go.
Mac and cheese is not good. Does KFC even have mac and cheese? I wouldn't know. Because it's not good. I never get it. I don't even know if Popeyes has it. All these fast food chains that have mac and cheese, it's never good. And there we have Chick-Fil-A, who has for years brought us consistently good and delicious food. I can't think of one thing on Chick-fil-A's menu that is not utterly delicious in every single possible way. And now they're going to...
Their menu is limited. You're right.
There's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing wrong. I have no problem with the restaurant doing what they do well and sticking with it. What I don't like is when a restaurant tries to do everything and everything is mediocre. I want you to do one or two things extremely well, and I can consistently depend on a quality product. And Chick-fil-A has done that for years. But here they are, coming with a macaroni and cheese dish. Josh, we're going to talk about top sides later in the show, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you macaroni and cheese is up there. Okay?
It's up there.
It is a staple. It is the holy grail of sides. And now Chick-fil-A is going to attempt to make a mac and cheese. Josh, I am worried. This is a legitimate grievance. I think this could be a stain on the untarnished reputation of Chick-fil-A, and I don't like it.
I think somebody called up, maybe Black Twitter tweeted them and was like, "Yo, we need something that represents us on your menu." Chick-fil-A was like, "Okay, maybe we should implement macaroni and cheese." And I'm like, bro, just because you see something on Twitter, just because somebody came by you and was like, maybe you should, you got to think about certain things.
You can't always listen to Black Twitter.
No, you can't listen. You just can't jump to the top of the list and implement mac and cheese.
Exactly.
Start low.
Right.
Start low. Start somewhere like, don't even do collard greens. Start somewhere like rice. Maybe
That's
some
safe.
rice. Maybe baked beans.
Baked beans. That would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect. If I heard Chick-fil-A came out with some of those seasonings in it, maybe some little, imagine the spicy chicken sandwich with a side of baked beans.
Some of those spices that they used in the spicy chicken sandwich?
If they got like a sweet sriracha twist to the baked beans?
I'm just saying. They got the sweet sriracha sauce? Something like that? Yeah. Like, do something like that.
But don't jump to the mac and cheese because Chick-fil-A, like...
You can't mess that up.
Now, they should have had a full rollout of maybe a grandma on a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of talking about how she was the consultant for Chick-fil-A during a period of time. How she broke it down. And she had other grandmothers from the church come by. Then we talk about Chick-fil-A should have consulted those black churches that have church till about 3 p.m.
Right.
And then they got the fish fry afterwards. Maybe they should have brought some churches in and say, you know what? How do y'all make macaroni and cheese? Because if I go into Chick-fil-A and I get me a side of macaroni and cheese, and if I see anything of the Velveeta twist, if I see anything that's just like noodles with some cheese sprinkled on top, like you can't do mac and cheese fast.
No.
Unless you have a system on Sundays or after closing where y'all prepare and y'all do a thorough preparation of your macaroni and cheese for the next day and y'all run out. It cannot be we have macaroni and cheese from lunch until close. No. It should be like while supplies last.
That's right.
We got mothers from local churches that has been considered qualified for the macaroni and cheese, certified macaroni and cheese makers. We bring them in Sunday nights. We bring them in at closing.
Right.
And they make 3 to 4, maybe 5 big pans. You cannot make macaroni and cheese last all day. You cannot tell me that the high school kid in the back is going to make y'all's macaroni and cheese by the 2 p.m. rush hour.
See?
5 p.m. rush hour.
Yep.
Macaroni and cheese is not a side that you rush.
You cannot rush it. And you're right, Josh. This should have been like Chick-fil-A's closed on Sundays. This is what you should be doing then on Sundays. You spend the time, you go to church, okay? What you need to be doing is going to these Baptists. Go to Ebenezer AME Zion Baptist Church, okay? Worship the Lord.
Don't go to Elevation.
Don't go to Elevation.
Don't go to a church that has one name.
Don't go to anything that has church on the end. If it's anything church, if it's Uplift Church, if it's Moving Forward Church, anything with church on the end.
Elevation.
Nope. No, nothing with church on the end. It should have an AME or a Zion or an Ebenezer. One of those. You go to that church. Okay, that's where you worship the Lord that day. And then afterwards, you get the mothers of the church. Okay, and you learn from them. You glean from their years of putting in work in the kitchen. Okay, there should be a stringent application process. Not just everybody can cook for you. At Chick-fil-A with your macaroni and cheese. They have to have, references, okay? They have to have references. They have to go through the application process, and they should be making that mac and cheese on Sunday night, making several pans, and it's going to be limited, okay? Yeah. It's only served, during dinner hours, maybe, from 5 to 9.
That's right. While supplies last.
This is how if you're going to do it, Chick-fil-A, because you've been excellent at everything else. But I'm really worried about this one. Mac and cheese is not easy.
But BD, recently, if there's any place that I can trust to get close, we're not talking about just to get close.
Right.
But bro, it better be knockout banging every single time I get it. The one day you slip, I'm done.
That's the hard thing about mac and cheese. It's hard to keep it consistent because good macaroni and cheese, Josh, it's made with love.
It's made with love. And I don't know how much, do you love money or do you love the mac and cheese?
You know what I mean? If you're looking at your profit margins and you're saying, hey, skimp on the cheese here. Okay.
No.
Don't add so much cream. Take some of the cream out. Okay, then you can't do it. When you're making that when the mac and cheese is banging, grandma's not thinking about profit margins.
She's not.
She's saying, "Ooh, I think this needs a little bit more butter. Let me put a stick of butter in there and let
she's
it melt."
She's thinking about generations.
While
she's grinding that cheese, she's thinking about legacy.
She's thinking about her legacy, how her story will be told after she's long gone at family reunions for years to come.
They care about what you say about their macaroni and cheese.
Absolutely.
And you need someone that cares about the Yelp reviews, that cares about how the church feel about it. You should be taking your cooks to see that if Chick-fil-A comes out with a press release that says we've been going to Ebenezer and Mount Zion churches for 2 years, our cooks have caught the Holy Ghost. The cooks have been tutored, the cooks have been trained, they have been mentored.
Yes.
Then I shall believe. It should take about 1.5 years of extensive training. Because the mothers can't be there all day. The mothers can't be there. They got little Nuke to babysit.
That's right.
They gotta go and do Sunday school. They gotta prep for Sunday school for tomorrow, Sunday. But bro, when I heard mac and cheese, I began to think Chick-fil-A, bro, y'all just got number 1. You just got to the number 1 spot. Like just baked beans. Baked beans.
There you go. If you mess up baked beans, we'll forgive you. It's baked beans. It's like, hit and a miss, but it's okay. It's still Chick-fil-A. If you are going to go after mac and cheese...
No, BD. I don't trust it already because who's Chick-fil-A's top clientele? They love that runny mac and cheese.
See,
See, we're the bottom. They just put macaroni and cheese out there because they're probably in southern states.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the lighter persuasion. They don't care. Their taste on macaroni and cheese is not like our macaroni and cheese.
Right.
I'm already thinking that it's not going to be our kind of macaroni and cheese. It's not going to be from the mothers, the grandmothers. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be that macaroni and cheese. If it is,
Mm-hmm.
but outside looking in, without a taste bud tasting it yet, I'm thinking it's going to be probably cream, noodles, sprinkled cheese on top. Cream, noodles, sprinkled cheese on top.
Mm.
That's what I think. It ain't even going to be baked. It's probably going to come out of they got the little scooper joint, scoop the macaroni and cheese, put it in the bowl, sprinkle cheese on it. That's what I think it's going to be.
And you know, I think you're right. And I think this is why I'm so worried. Because I think deep down, at our very core, right, we know that Chick-fil-A is not doing it for us.
Nah, it's
okay?
not for us.
It's not for us. We're not really who they're targeting with their food, but their food is so good. The chicken sandwich is so delicious and convenient. Their customer service is so impeccable, and they treat us like they really care.
BD, could Chick-fil-A be mocking us to keep us from coming to their establishments? Like Gucci and them did?
I really hope not, but I'm worried.
I think they just don't want us to shop there. Now, I'm just joking. But usually when I come by Chick-fil-A, it's about maybe 1 or 2 black people working there.
Yeah.
And they're not probably well, I ain't gonna go there. But Chick-fil-A, man, I'm gonna taste it. Maybe we should do it. Maybe that should be our first. Maybe the Lord tarried us.
No. I know where you're going. We're doing the Popeyes and Chick-fil-A taste test. Okay, this is important.
Is that what the people want?
Yes, that's all everyone is talking about on social media. The new Popeyes chicken sandwich, and people are getting out of pocket. Okay, I'm gonna save my critiques. We're gonna do the video. Okay, and the sandwich is good, but people are getting out of pocket.
Pete, we live in an era of prisoners of the moment, BD.
Come on, man. People wilding out. It's good, but don't be disrespectful.
Because of the disrespect, I will try it.
Yes.
I will do this again because of the disrespect.
Okay.
And then the second one will be the macaroni and cheese.
Yes. There's a couple other ones, too.
What are those?
Jack in the Box has spicy chicken strips now. I don't anticipate them being good, but we'll try it.
I haven't had Jack in the Box in like 3 years, but Jack in the Box was my go-to fast food joint.
Okay. All right. Well, that's enough of me ranting.
I'm
sorry, Chick-fil-A. I still love you. But I'm worried about that mac and cheese. We're going to go ahead and get into the main topic of the day. And Josh, I'm going to pass the baton to you on this one. But I know we're going to be talking about communication, but I'm going to go ahead and let you set the table, my friend.
Let me go ahead and get into my reverend bag.
Okay.
Today we're going to be talking about proper communication in relationships. It is very important for us to really get down to the fundamentals of communication. A lot of people are not positioning their relationships for success because they're not invested into ensuring that they are a person of character and a person of proper communication. So I have a lot of notes that I have to get through today. We're going to be talking about 3 main themes. We're going to be talking about what you must know about communication, components of communication, and how to communicate a critique or a concern. Let's start with number 1. Let me get to my notes because I have a lot of notes here, but I wanted to make sure that I invest. I got a lot of questions in the last 2 weeks or so from people who are struggling in the communication department. And I said the best channel for me to do this on is with the homie, the good guy over there in Texas, Texas B. Let's get to it. There's a scripture that I want to talk about real quickly, and then I'm going to get into some points where BD can chime in. But it's Ephesians 4:29. It says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." It's very important for us to dissect that and to ensure that we are people prepared for communication. It says, the first thing says, let no corrupting talk come out of our mouths. Corruption allowed inward will be corruption that will be spewed outward. You have to be a person that allows the right type of components to be digested in you, because when you're pressed or when you're going through a tough time with your significant other, when communication is vital and needed, there won't be anything that will corrupt her mind, corrupt his mind, corrupt his joy, her joy, etc. But it will continue to follow this. It says, but only such as good for building up. So many of us are so broken down that we don't even know how to build people up with our communication. Broken people can't build anything. You have to make sure that you are a person of character with nothing corrupting inside of you, so that nothing comes out of you that will corrupt someone else. It says, as is good for building up as fit the occasion. Some of us would be speaking out of pocket. We'd be speaking out of occasion. But it's important for us to know our environment, know the person that we're talking to, etc. Last point, and then we want to talk about what you must know about communication, and BD will be able to chime in. That it may give grace to those who hear. So many of us don't know what it means to be empathetic, sympathetic, or grace-giving. We have to have these components within our communication so that when whoever we speak to in a relationship form would benefit from it. Now, let's get to our first point. What you must know about communication. I got this point right. In order to have a great relationship, you must know these three things. The core of communication, the cycles of communication, and the conflicts of communication. Let's start with the core of communication. If you look at the word BD of communication, you can see the word community. In order for us to have a great relationship with our significant other, we have to have great communication. If you find a great relationship, chances are they have a great communicative skill sets that supports their relationship. But in order to have a good communication, the core of it is community. And in order for us to have community with our significant other, there must be something that we have in common. The thing that we have in common with our significant other is purpose. When you are in love with someone that you share a purpose with, that you are building a corporation, an empire with, that births community. And if community is birthed between you and your significant other, then when it's time to speak to them, then your communication will be gentle. Your communication will be peaceful. And that's where you find the core of communication. If you want to have a great relationship, you have to have great communication skills. And the core of that is community that is birthed from common interests. I'm going to see if BD got something to say, and we can get to the rest of the points. But that's the first step in the first few points that I have.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I don't have a whole lot to add to that, but I mean, whenever you're communicating with your spouse, you guys do have to, y'all have to be on the same page. So it goes back to some of the things that we talked about as far as, while you're dating, making sure that, this is the person who your purposes are aligned, like your vision is aligned and your relationship with God is aligned. That's that core right there that all of y'all's communication has to flow from. Because you're going to have times when you're getting in arguments or you see certain things a certain way and she sees it a different way. You have to come back to that core. What's our foundation? Okay. It's our relationship with Christ. That's that third strand. The
third chord. Yep.
Third chord. Not easily broken movie. Yeah. That's the third chord. So that's what you have to come back to in your communication. So if you're doing that, you're not going to say crazy stuff that, there's some stuff that you can say that you can't take back, man. It's like toothpaste out of the toothpaste container. Like you can't put it back in there. So you have to be careful about the things that you say. You can't just speak out of emotion. You have to come back to that core, and that's your purpose and that's your relationship with God.
Yeah, and takes us right to our second point, the cycles of communication. In order to have a healthy relationship and have healthy communications, my second point, you have to have healthy communications with three people. You have to have healthy communication with God, healthy communication with yourself, healthy communication with your significant other. It is very important to make sure that you and God have a healthy relationship, that you communicate with him often. See, when I get upset or disappointed or whatever, or when my wife and I go through disagreements, before I even give the enemy the opportunity, before I even allow him to have an open door, I go vent to God about it. Most of
Yes.
us, we try to give what's hot or what's flaming in our hearts to the person without the right mittens. God is the only one with the right mittens to hold the hottest things of your heart. And if you don't have a healthy relationship with him and a healthy communication with him, then you won't be able to properly ventilate, open up ventilation for you to get the steam off the top of your concern. Some of us are passing over our concerns, and that person is not receiving it because of the way it was given. They're not going to be able to receive it because it's too hot for them to handle. So in order for you to have a healthy communication with your significant other, there's two people first you must have healthy communication with. Number one, healthy communication with God. Going to him to vent. Healthy communication with yourself. That's why many of us, the reason why we communicate false expectations on people, because we haven't communicated to ourselves the expectation we have for us. When you have proper communication with you, you will be able to see the BS that you're contributing. You will be able to see that maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I have false expectations. When you communicate with yourself, you will then be able to have the empathetic eye for your significant other, and which will make the communication between you all a little bit more pleasant, a little bit more digestible. But so many of us, we skip God, we skip ourselves, and we give our concerns, or we give forms of communication that our significant other is not going to be able to receive in that package. So after the core of communication, you have to understand the cycles of communication, so that when it's time to communicate with your significant other, you have already given over to God. God has put you in a right posture to be self-reflecting, that you can go towards your significant other, whether concerned or with celebratory whatever praises, with the right form of communication.
Absolutely. And just to jump in there, like, I think that's something that, and I don't know, I'll talk to more, I would speak more to the men in this regard, but a lot of times you get into disputes and arguments within the context of like marriage or just relationships, but primarily I'm talking about marriage, and you feel like you have to resolve it right there. Like, I know as men, like, we're wired to be problem solvers. So sometimes, your wife comes to you with a concern or something like that, and you're wanting to, like, this is how we fix the problem. Like, this is the solution. How do you not see this? And it gets frustrating or whatever. And we might not always be right, but that's how we are wired. That's how we're trained to, that's how we're wired to think. But I think it's important a lot of times to, like, instead of trying to fix it right there, trying to have that discussion right there, especially if you feel yourself getting emotionally, riled up, take a step back and just say, hey, babe, we obviously, we coming from two different sides on this. Let me sleep on it. Let me pray on it a little bit, and we'll come back and we'll revisit this tomorrow. I promise you the issue will still be there. So that's where you go and you retreat, man, and you talk to God. Hey, God, what's up? Like, this is the situation. This is how I feel about it. This is how she feels about it. And just get to yourself and get quiet and listen to what God is telling you. Okay. Get in your scriptures, seek counsel on it. And that's also where, you have that self-talk as well, because you'll start to hear, things in your mind, your flesh trying to tell you certain things, and you have to talk to your flesh and be like, hey, no, like, I don't care if she's getting on my nerves right now. Okay, this is the woman I married. This is why I married her. This is why I'm going to stay committed to her, and we're going to figure this thing out. So once you do all that, you come back to the situation with a clear mind, with you've heard from the Lord, and you've cooled down, and I guarantee you'll have a more productive conversation. She's probably cooled down too. But those are the, like, where you talk about the cycles of conversation. Like, that would be my biggest input there. You don't have to resolve it right there. Like, take a step back, talk to God, talk to yourself, get your mind right, and then come back at it.
Yeah, and it goes down to my third C, the conflicts of communication. And I have two things that conflicts, that hinders proper communication, is selfishness and insecurities. Just like BD was edifying the brothers with, is that you have to understand that it's not about you. Ladies, it's not about you. Most of us, most people, the reason why our relationships sink is through the torpedoes of selfishness. You see what I'm saying? When it's all about you and you only care about what you care about, then that's when assumptions build. Then that's when fear builds, because the enemy doesn't want intimacy. He doesn't. And the way to birth intimacy is not through sex, it's through communication. Communication is what opens up intimate and hot sex between you and your wife and you and your husband, because there's understanding. You cannot have communication in a proper sense without understanding. And if the only person you understand is you, and you haven't allowed God through intimacy of marriage to rewire you, where y'all's wires connect and you able to feel her and feel him before you spew out what you want to say, man, chances are you guys would have yet to become one flesh. Y'all may have became one flesh and bodily form, but you haven't become one flesh and spirit and soul form. It's important to be holistically connected with your significant other. And if you truly care about how they feel, if you have allowed God, who is the third cord, to wire all three of y'all together, then there will be no selfishness in your communication, and there won't be any insecurities. And a lot of people are not speaking up today in relationships because they're insecure. I'd rather be secured alone than to stay insecure in a relationship that is not securing me. And a lot of people are allowing insecurities from keeping them speaking up. You're being abused. You're being misused. You better speak up for yourself. And that's what's conflicting proper communication. I'm insecure about this. Twofold. I'm insecure about this, and I don't know what to say and how to leave. Or I'm insecure about this, and I got these expectations that silently inside of me, and my significant other doesn't know that what he's doing or what she's doing is hurting me. The conflicts of good communication in relationships boils down to selfishness and insecurities.
And to piggyback off of that, you have to work to know those things about your spouse.
That's right.
Right? And it comes with time. You're not going to know everything when y'all first get married. But over time, having deep conversations with your spouse, like finding out, what kind of insecurities they may have, what kind of things they've gone through, in their past, in their life, like that is your mission over the life of your marriage, is to deeply and intimately get to know your spouse. And that's where the beauty of marriage is. That's where the intimacy is. That's where, like you said, that's when you having the best, the relations in the bedroom, like when y'all are deeply, intimately connected. Because what that'll do is when you having those arguments, and she's coming from a whole different, place from where you coming from, but you'll understand where she's coming from, though.
That's right.
Like, I disagree, but I know why you're coming the way that you're coming. And, just acknowledging that will change the whole, course of that argument or that, disagreement. So you have to know your spouse. You have to know what their insecurities are. You have to know, what kind of things that they struggle with. Like, I've made it my personal mission, and absolutely, to know everything about my wife. Anytime we go anywhere, to a restaurant or whatever, like, and I know I can tell you her order down to the the detailed little quirks that she likes about her order at every restaurant. And she's like, why do you know that? Like, because I pay attention to everything that you do. I pay attention to everything. Anything you've ever told me, I can recall it. Anything she's told me, I can recall it. So, I don't know if I know every single thing about her deep down, to the core, but that's what I'm trying to get to. That's my mission. And she does the same thing for me. So that's a major part of being in a relationship and marriage.
Let me tell you, relationship is not I paid attention. Relationship is I'm paying attention. Because many people paid attention, but that person has evolved. You paid attention, but they've grown. But you got to be a person that's paying attention. That every day you're sacrificing and paying a cost to pay attention. Because your wife, your husband is going to always grow. New experiences leads to new growth. They're blossoming. They're growing. They're developing. And you got to make sure daily you are paying attention and not resting on the fact that you paid attention. Because the more you pay attention, you won't be distracted trying to pay that attention somewhere else.
Yeah, you got to be paying attention. Stuff happens over the course of marriage. Look, you get married to your wife and you paid attention to how her body looked, and you paid attention to them curves and you liked them. Hey, you get married over time, you have some kids, life hits, the responsibilities. It might not look the same, but are
Yeah.
you paying attention? Are you aware that she's a little insecure about how she looks now? Are you still reassuring her and making sure that you still love her just the same? That's why you have to be paying attention. If you're not paying attention, then, she's insecure about stuff and she's coming at you, she's snapping back at you for certain stuff that you say. And you're like, what are you coming at me like that for? But if you're paying attention, hey, things are changing. So like you said, that's important. You're paying attention. Not that you paid attention to get her. You are, over the course of that relationship, you are constantly paying attention because people grow, circumstances change, people evolve over the years. That's a never-ending process.
Man, you don't get married because of looks. You get married because of life. You got to build life with a person. If you get caught up with looks fade, man. You got to be able to see deep beauty. That doesn't mean they're not attractive. People still grow, but attraction grows because you are aware of the depths of that individual. And that will help with going forward, because a lot of people grow silent because of their paid attention. And now when they see that person changing, they haven't grown to the maturity to be able to manage that person's growth, to be able to manage that person's deep depths of beauty. And now all of a sudden, now that person feels insecure, trapped in a relationship because of what you paid previously. Now, the components of communication, real quickly. There's 4. Real quickly, and I'm going to get to what we're trying to get to. The components of communication is 4-folded. There's the deliverer of the communication, the delivery of the communication, the delivery receiver, and the deliverance. Now, I had to go old school. BD talked about Ebenezer. He talked about Mount Zion Baptist Church and that deliverance. You see what I'm saying? Well, the church don't talk about deliverance no more, BD. There's 2 things the church don't talk about. They don't talk about repentance, and they don't talk about deliverance. Okay? All this cupcake, cookie dough sermons making people feel good, but people ain't good. Okay? We got to bring repentance and deliverance and back into the house of God. God ain't visited most of y'all's churches because he's not welcome to bring conviction, which leads to repentance, which leads to deliverance. We got to get back to the roots of the gospel.
Okay.
He came in not to be a pillow, but a sword, causing division.
All right, don't get started, Reb.
Man, I might do a live tonight. I'm calling all the saints to wake up at midnight tonight, and we gonna be on our face before the Lord in prayer. But the components of communication start with
But the components of communication.
the components of the communication starts with the deliverer.
Okay.
That's why you gotta talk to God. Like, are you ready to deliver this message? Are you ready to deliver this communication? Are you in the right temperament to build up? Are you in the right self-awareness to make sure you speak that fits the occasion? Are you able to ensure that your words will be gentle enough to give grace, but also give growth? There's a way to communicate that gives grace and the right type of criticism or critique to bring growth. Communication gives grace while at the same time offering growth. And you got to make sure that you are merciful, that you are self-aware, and that you are growing. Because if you deliver that thing wrong, that person's going to shoot back at you that you're not what you're asking them to be. And you got to make sure, as the deliverer of a concern, the deliverer of a message, or in any type of delivery, you got to make sure you, as the person, is ready to deliver the message.
Absolutely. I say it all the time. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's when you say it as well, to take it a step further. So as a man of God, you have to be in tune with God. Because he'll let you know, when is it time for me to deliver this message to my wife? Is now a good time, right? I just got home from work. She's been, she just changed like two poopy diapers and she's trying to get dinner ready, the kids are screaming. Is now the time to deliver this message? Or should I wait till tomorrow? Or, we're going out on date night and we're going to have a good time, relax. Maybe that's the time. Like the Holy Spirit will let you know when to deliver that message and even how to deliver that message. So you have to be sensitive to that, and you have to be prayed up and in tune with the Spirit to know how to deliver certain messages. Because like you said, the message can be good, the message can be sound, the message can be wisdom. But if you come at her the wrong way, and works both ways. If you come at a man the wrong way at the wrong time, he just got in from work, he tired, he just want to sit down and watch ESPN for 30 minutes, and you come at him with an issue, it could be something that he needs to, step up and handle, but that might not be the time.
That's right.
So that's all I got on that one.
Listen, in order to communicate correctly, you cannot communicate from ego. You can't communicate from emo. You got to communicate from Evo. Evo means evolve. You know what I'm saying? People try to communicate from ego. Men be like, I got ego. I'm communicating because of my ego, my pride, whatever. Women are communicating from their emo, their emotions. You got to communicate from Evo. Evo means I've evolved, or I am evolving. And in my growth, I'm able to recognize growth. I'm able to recognize and give grace, and that I'm evolving myself. You cannot evolve if the root part of you is ego. You cannot evolve if the root of you is emo. That anytime your pride is hit, you speak from ego. Anytime your feelings are hit, you speak from emotion. That's why evolving and growing in your relationship with God daily is important, so that when it's time to communicate, even while offended, you know what to do to ensure that you communicate what fits the occasion, a soft answer, turning away wrath. You gotta be that person, so that when you in those moments of pressure, that whatever comes out of your speech will be able to change the temperament of the environment. It doesn't matter how your coworker, your boss, your wife, your husband comes at you. You've been so focus on evolving in the things of God, then when it's time to communicate, you're not communicating from your ego, you're not communicating from your emo, you're communicating from your Evo, because you are evolving. The deliverer. Next component of the communication, the delivery. Listen, just like BD said, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it and who is saying it and who you're saying it to. You see what I'm saying? Delivery matters. Delivery comes from discernment, getting to know your significant other. There is a way that I deliver communication to other people that's different than I communicate with my wife, because she's closest. You see what I'm saying? I can't just deliver communication like I do to BD to my wife, because I am discerning. I know her. Your delivery matters. The softer it is, the better it's received. You gotta understand, you've been feeling this before they felt it. That's why the cycles of communication is important, that you go to God, you talk to yourself, so that when you do deliver the communication to your significant other, there's empathy there, there's understanding there, there's grace there, and the delivery has no dings in the package, that you gently set that package before them. It's nothing broken on the inside. It's able to be received. So just like the deliverer, you got to make sure that you evolve and that you're cool, that you're ready to communicate. And you got to think about how you're going to deliver this message to your wife. How does she receive it? It doesn't matter if you come from a military background and that's how you talk. You got to be able to say, hey, man, she's a little bit more gentle than I am. She doesn't receive it in that type of tone, because tone is a part of communication. Not only is words a part of the communication process, but tone is. And if you have talked to God and talked to yourself, your tone will be correct, and your tone will be in the right tune for your receivers' listening ears.
And that's a good point. And that's a lot of, I think what a lot of men can struggle with. And I'm sure, like I said, it goes both ways as well. But speaking to the men and speaking from experience, like you said, being in the military, I am in the military. And, communication in the military is like a whole separate thing. Like, we talk differently. Like, there is no fluff. There is no political correctness. It is straight, look, this is what needs to get done. You need to do it. Like, you're messing up. You're not doing it right. So when I'm at work and I'm talking to, my supply clerk or whatever, I'm just talking direct to him. I'm barking orders like, hey, go do this and then handle that and come let me know when it's done. You know what I mean? When I come home, I can't have that same tone
Yeah,
with my wife. She doesn't work for me. She is my partner.
that's right.
Okay? She's not a subordinate. Yes, I am in charge of I'm the head of the household. Yes, I am responsible to God, but I that's not how I communicate with my wife though. Like she's not a subordinate. She is a partner and we work together. So when I'm communicating with her, it has to be totally different. An important thing that, I always say, I've told you before, like when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationships, there's no more winning. Like, you know what I mean? Arguments. Like you can't, like, even if you win, like even if you give the best rebuttal, the best argument, and you completely shut her down, you did not win.
You did.
Because that's not a win. You guys are working together. So keeping that in mind, your delivery needs to be filled with grace, needs to be filled with patience. You need to get your point across, but you need to get it across in a way that she feels like, you know what I mean? He still loves me. He still thinks I'm amazing. He still thinks I'm a good wife, a good mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to reassure her and let her know, through your delivery that she's still appreciated and that you understand what she's going through. Hey, you understand the context of it. You understand, hey, I know you got a lot going on with the kids and, the job and whatever she does. But whatever the issue is. So it's about your delivery. Yeah, that's very important.
It's very important how you deliver, man. And the same thing for ladies to your man. Just because a man is an alpha male, he's a strong man, you got a strong man. Hey man, we don't like to be taught to a certain kind of way. And when you understand that life is about talking to a person, not talking down or talking up, a relationship should not be a relationship where you got to talk up to a person or talk down to a person. You got to talk to your significant other. Talk to them as an equal, not a subordinate and not a person that you have puffed up above you or they place themselves above you. You see what I'm saying? And if you're in a relationship right now where you always talking down to and you always feel yourself talking up to them, then you might want to consider that relationship if you're not married. And if you're married, you got to give God the opportunity and be that pillar in your family to allow your salvation to be convincing enough that will lure that person to salvation too. And God will help you. But for those who are single, those who are dating, this is serious. You know what I'm saying? When you got a common interest that births out of community, then you have the right kind of communication. Me and my wife have a great community. We have a great culture in our marriage. That's important. Let's talk about that for like maybe 30 seconds. You got to have the right culture. You got to have a culture in your marriage that welcomes concerns, that welcomes critique, that welcomes if you don't want to be married to a person that you don't even feel like you can even just casually talk to. They're
Right.
so closed off. They're so busy in their career that you can't even. There's a lot of silent homes. I won't even call them homes, quiet houses. Because there's two types of dwelling places in marriages. Either you're dwelling in a home or you're dwelling in a house. And your relationship is a reflection of what kind of place you're dwelling in. Those who live in homes have healthy communication. Those who live in houses, closed off communications. So you got to make sure that you create the right culture and that you strong enough in who you are in Christ as a man that if your wife has a concern about how things are going, that it's not a shot at your ego. No, but you got to say, okay, I'm going to go right to my Evo and I'm going to evolve on what my wife brought to me, or I'm going to evolve on what my husband brought to me. You cannot be so in your feelings as a woman that if your man says something to you that you know is wrong about you, that you go, okay, I'm going to take my husband, I'm going to take what he says and I'm going to evolve. But so many people dwell in the ego and emo categories that there's no opportunity for communication. The devil loves it. He loves when there's ego and emo in the house because he knows no home can be birthed from those two types of emotions.
Not at all.
The third one of the components of communication is the delivery receiver. That's just self-explanatory. How would they like to receive what you want to say to them? Every person in any type of delivery business has the receiver in mind. Chew your words to see what they taste like before you give it to someone else. Because what can be forgiven can't always be forgotten. And a lot of us said things in the heat of emo and the heat of ego that's now causing a person to demo. Demo? Dang. How do I say it? Demo? Depot? Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say.
I cannot help you at all.
Demo. There we go. Demo. Woo! I knew it was there. Demo. Calls them to demote. No? Anyway. This is a Good Guys podcast. These things should happen here. Okay?
Yep.
But you got to have the receiver in mind, man. And you got to make sure you humble yourself in your pride. You relax yourself with your emotions and your feelings. And you think about who they really are. Think about, like, sometimes we think so much of ourselves that we forget who we're in relationship with. There's a lot. If you got a good person, there's a lot of good there. Okay. The last point, deliverance. Communication should always lead to freedom. Proper communication leads to freedom. It frees you. It frees them. It opens up a culture of freedom where everything is free. Everything is not shackled by, you delivered this message to your wife and now she's still shackled and bound by an insecurity that you put on her because you said things out of pocket. Your man is not now free from to be a man to lead because he's not imprisoned by your words that's coming after him. You know what I'm saying? Everything that comes out of your mouth should not put your significant other in prison. It should always lead to deliverance. It should lead to a culture of freedom, that person is delivered. That person's like, man, I don't feel angry anymore. Oh, I'm glad you communicated that. Now we're on the same page now. And if there's no freedom in your relationship, it's because somebody in the relationship wants to keep the other one in prison. And some people are in the prisons of a crime of an ex. You haven't got over your ex yet, and now you got your wife in a prison. Now you got your husband in a prison. Now you got your boyfriend in prison, your girlfriend in prison because of a crime of another person. And now your speech is so demoralizing. Your speech is not edifying, building up a fit the occasion because your mind is constantly dwelling on what you've been through, what happened to you when you was a kid and the pain. Set yourself free so that you can speak words of freedom and not imprisoning through your words your significant other.
And not only that, like, communication, when you talk about deliverance, you talk about freedom, you have to foster an environment, like you said, of open communication. I know sometimes you could feel like, oh, I'd rather just not say anything because I don't want to start up an argument or I don't want to start any strife or, I don't want to be uncomfortable or anything like that. But that communication is what leads to a better marriage.
That's
okay?
Right.
That sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to get to where you need to be. So, if there's an issue in the relationship, if there's something that, you're not providing for her that she needs, she needs to be able to tell you that, and you need to be able to take that, make the necessary adjustments, talk with God. Hey, this is what she said, what do I need to be doing? What can I do better? And make the necessary adjustments. And that's how you guys grow. And that's how you guys get better, as a couple. But if you're in a relationship, you feel like, if there's something wrong, I can't tell them about it, then there's just that stuff is just going to build up over years, years. This same issue has been going on for years and you're just building up resentment and you guys are growing apart slowly. It's better to just go ahead and have that little conflict, have the little discomfort, have the conversation in grace, deliver it the correct way. And have those open lines of communications. And that's how you guys stay close. That's how you guys, have a better relationship.
That's real, BD. It's the culture is important. You have to be so used to conviction that you're able to be critiqued. Because when you're walking with Christ, there's always going to be something in areas to grow in your life. You see what I'm saying? If you're used to being challenged by God, straightened out by the Holy Spirit, if you're used to growth, if you're used to improving, if you're used to those different things, you don't mind someone critiquing you if it's with the right temperament. You see what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with telling that person, I receive what you say, but can you say it this way next time? You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with that. But you
That's right.
have to create a culture where you can grow. So many people are so used to being comfortable, so used to being stagnant, that anytime there's a challenge or areas to improve, they feel tried. They feel like, well, I don't know if I don't know about this anymore. No, grow.
And that's where we talk about, are you ready to be married? The things about marriage that they ain't tough. Like when you get married, you're gonna find out some things about yourself that you might not like, that you didn't think was the issue before. But now that you're living with somebody else and that mirror is showing you exactly who you are and what your, weaknesses are and what your, flaws are, and they're gonna tell you about yourself. And if, you're single, when you're single, you're not really used to hearing that.
That's right.
When you're growing up, maybe in your parents' house, you got corrected and things like that. But when you get off on your own, you've been single for a while, you're not really hearing a lot of that. You're doing whatever you want to do. But when you get married and you're on somebody, they're going to tell you, hey, man, this ain't right. Like the way you handle these situations, it's not good. And if you can't handle that, if you can't, receive that with grace and humility and make the necessary changes, it's not going to be good.
And listen, some people have made marriage the goal. That's why they haven't grown in a while. They got married. That's the goal. I got here. There's no need to grow. But mission-minded marriages are in a constant state of growth. They're constantly growing because they're mission-minded marriages. If marriage was your mission, you ain't gonna mind the mission that God has for it. And a lot of people, they get married, they get comfortable. Men get married so they can cool off their sexual organ. Women get married to cool off their loneliness. You know what I'm saying? And then once the cooling off comes down and y'all looking at each other, the sex has been satisfying to a degree. You got someone to warm you up at night, and you're realizing, wow, this is more than just these things that we got here for. But when you go, if you're a mission-minded individual, then you're not going to accept too many people into your life. And when you get into a mission-minded marriage, a man of God and a woman of God ain't gonna tolerate certain things.
Nope.
Because they got somewhere to go. They fear God. You know what I'm saying? They revere God. They want to be productive for God in the land before they get into heaven. So we don't got time for this complacency. We're supposed to produce godly seed here. We're supposed to be a godly beacon of hope to other marriages. We just can't be sitting in complacency. And when you marry someone like that, you better get ready for that if that's what you really want. And people, they want a man of God. They want a woman of God. They want a person that's about their business and really honor marriage, but they're not honoring it themselves. They're not preparing to be able to manage it.
And that's why, look, y'all hear us keep talking about it over and over. And we say it, marriage is hard. It's work. We're not saying that we don't enjoy our marriages. I love my marriage. I love my wife. It's been the biggest blessing, in my life. It's made me so much better of a person. But that's through trials and tribulations and struggles and me having to change, some of the selfish ways that I had prior to marriage. My wife having to change some of the things that, that she was doing. Having those conversations. It's work. It's work. If y'all don't get anything else from the Good Guys podcast, you talk about marriage, it's work, man. So be prepared for that. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful struggle. And it's worthwhile.
Anything but worth having. Yeah, you go ahead, BD. I'm sorry.
We could kick, the same, a lot of people just, marriage is the wonderful, marriage is bliss and da-da-da. And we could do that, but it ain't going to help you when you get married and actually get married and this stuff starts hitting you in the face. Those messages not going to help you. So go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
No, you good, bro. That's why we give it to you real. We want to give y'all a catalog online to be able to revert back to in your current marriage or before you get married. And a lot of y'all message us, y'all comment about how y'all take notes. And this is what we're here for. We want y'all to be prepared. We want y'all to have the right mindset. Like, marriage is amazing. But see, me and BD always had a work ethic. So when we got into marriage, we knew what it is. We knew what it's going to be. We know it's going to take work, man. And a lot of people are don't know how to communicate now. We live in an age where y'all communicate through phones. Back in our day, we had to show up face to face and tell. And I think that's missing in this generation to a degree. That people break up over text. People end things over. They just fall away. They disappear. People don't like conflict. Communication is going to have some conflict in it. And
Right.
if you're afraid of conflict, then you're not going to have proper communication skills. And if you don't have proper communication skills, the divorce rate will continue to skyrocket.
That's right.
You got to be ready to conflict resolution. You got to be able to take it, resolve it, and come together. Now, let's talk about how to properly communicate a criticism or concern. I call this the spicy communication sandwich.
Mm.
This is exclusive. I know this is exclusive. I got this today.
Okay.
I call this the
Fresh.
spicy. This is fresh Rayma. If you hear
Fresh,
it, if you hear it somewhere else, I got the date stamp right here. This came from me and God 10 minutes before the podcast. The spicy communication sandwich. Three
I feel like you were
C's.
just hungry.
Celebrate, critique, celebrate. In order to communicate your concerns, and I have 6 points on how you can properly communicate these concerns, you got to be able to communicate correctly. And it's going to be spicy sometimes. That critique in the middle, it's going to be spicy sometimes. It's going to be Chick-Fil-A spicy kind, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But before you get to the meat, you got to make sure the buns are buttered.
Okay.
You got to make sure the buns are toasted, soft, and buttered. You got to celebrate them. Hey, babe, you doing exceptionally well in this area. I am so proud to be your man. Ladies, I'm so proud to be your wife. You are doing exceptionally well in this area. But there are some things that are kind of concerning me, though. You tell your concern, and then you finish it. But I know you're growing. I know you've been busy. I know life. I know you went through a situation. But I just want to make sure I communicate my concern. When you celebrate, critique, celebrate, they're able to digest what you're communicating. It's not super spicy, just a hint of spice.
Mm-hmm.
But the butter and the toastiness of the bread, it nullifies the spicy, the habanero, whatever it's called. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to, and the clarity of mind does that. When you think about how good your man and how good your wife is, there's more to celebrate than critique.
Far more.
Far more to celebrate than critique. Now let's get right into my 7 points on how to communicate your concerns. Okay. Previously, what you heard me say was the spicy communication sandwich, making sure that the celebration of your significant other is well toasted, well buttered, with a nice helping of criticism in the middle. That's not too spicy, but just a hint of spicy. May cause some conflict, but when you slap that bottom bun on there, they're able to receive it. Okay. But these are 7 points real quickly, and we're going to get into our top 5 sides. Okay. And we're not talking about size of women. Okay. We don't have, only time we talk about size is when we talk about our food. But number 1, in order to properly communicate with your significant other a critique or a concern, you got to give yourself time to think and cool off.
Okay.
And don't assume. When you give yourself time to think and you give yourself time to cool off, man, that's the best type of climate to receive that kind of communication. Are you giving yourself time to think what you want to say through? Are you giving yourself time to cool off? Or are you allowing yourself to be in the heat of the moment with assumption as the leader, leading you to a very tough, conflicting conversation? Anything you want to share on that beat, or you want me to just keep going?
Just rattle them off.
Let me rattle them off for time's sake, because we've been rocking and rolling. Number 1, you got to give yourself time to think and cool off, and you got to make sure you don't assume. Number 2, you got to face God, face yourself, then face them. Before you even think about facing them, before you even think about communicating them, face God, vent, face yourself, and think, and then face them. Number 3, you got to be honest. In order to be honest, you got to write everything down. The worst thing you can do is tell half of what you want to tell. And the reason why many of us only tell half of what we really want to say is because we allow anger and assumptions to lead us. When you really take your time to cool off and think things through, you'll be able to write down everything that you want to say, and that you will have it present with you so that their words don't make you forget what you need to say. Number 4, you have to clearly communicate and actively listen. Clearly communicate. After you have faced God, after you have given yourself time, faced yourself, cooled off, and you have taken the time to be honest with yourself and put your honesty on paper, then you're able to clearly, through that spicy communication sandwich process, be able to clearly communicate what you have to say. After you have put a period to the last sentence of your your delivery, now you have to turn your ears on and turn your mouth off. You now have to actively listen, okay? Because some of us, we communicate with closed ears. No, you have to open your mouth in the beginning, in the right climate where that person's able to receive and is able to receive it the way they like. And then you're able to then close your mouth, open your ears, and open your mind, and open your heart so that you can be able to empathize and understand where they're coming from. After that, number 5, come together. You know what I'm saying? Grab her and be like, babe, man, let's get intimate. I hear what you have to say. I'm going to change. I'm going to go from ego to evolve. I'm going to go from emo to evolve. I'm going to evolve. But let's come together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if coming together is not the option at that moment, let's seek help. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Entirely possible that it might not be an option in that moment.
Listen, and listen, if coming together is not ready, let her go and think about it. Let him go think about it.
That's right.
Give them 24 to 48 hours to process it. That's the beautiful thing about it. Give yourself 24 and 48 hours before you communicate. Give them 24 to 48 hours after you communicate. And then maybe in 2 days, y'all can get intimate.
That's right.
But you got to give them the same amount of time you gave yourself to be able to process what you've heard. And the beautiful thing about it is the reason why people don't want to communicate because of that conflict is because they think that person ain't going to come back. But if that person was given to you by God, that's the beautiful thing about having God as your asset in your relationship. God will deal with them. God will reveal to them. God will allow what you said to rest on a gentle heart. And in 24 to 40 hours, while you're still being kind to them, while you're still being loving to them, while they're processing, even if they're in their feelings or in their ego, you still be kind, because the Bible says kindness will heap coals of fire in their head, meaning it will renew their mind. Don't just let them go off and then you go off. No, you go off and you keep the house going. You keep serving. You keep doing your thing with cheer, trusting in God to bring them back to you so y'all could come together. And then in the process, if it's something serious, something very real, seek help. You know, if there's some infidelity, if there's some anger management problems, if there's some PTSD, y'all get some help. There's certain communication that you need some help to assist that. 6, revisit or communicate for the first time clear expectations. Conversations are great because some of us, we thought we told our significant other our expectation area, but that person never got that information. So now when y'all communicate, y'all can revisit what y'all have communicated or communicate for the first time clear expectations so that when y'all go forward, number 7, y'all can document and celebrate growth. Number 1, give yourself time to think and cool off and don't assume. Face God first, face yourself second, and face them third. Be honest and make sure you put your honesty thoroughly on paper. Clearly communicate and actively listen. Number 4. Number 5, come together. If it don't happen immediately, give them 24 to 48 hours and seek help if needed. Revisit or communicate for the first time clear expectations. Last but not least, document and celebrate growth. That's all I got, BD.
Okay. Good stuff today. I hope that was beneficial to you guys. Hope that helps some people. But yeah, man, when it comes to relationships, communication, if not the most, it's definitely one of the most important things, most important aspects of relationships. So I hope that was beneficial to you guys. But with that said, we're going to keep it moving to the next topic. We've got another top 5. And today, in the spirit of Chick-Fil-A's mac and cheese, we're going to talk about our top 5 side dishes of all time.
I'm excited, man. I'm getting hungry as we speak.
That spicy chicken sandwich concept that you gave just now pretty much made me hungry. So
yeah,
I'm in the right state of mind for this.
And Chick-Fil-A is closed tomorrow. But you can go to Popeyes.
Hey, Chick-fil-A got a...
Yes.
Hey. All right. Okay, we're going to start at number 5. Josh, you want to go?
Number 5. And this took me some time to do this list. Now, I know you guys was like, Josh loves his main dishes like lasagna, chicken wings. I know you guys like, but does he care about sides? You best believe I care about sides.
Absolutely. The great psalmist Fabulous said the entree just isn't as good without something on the side. Now, he may have been talking about something else in a different concept, but we're talking about food. We're the Good Guys podcast. So that's how I took it.
That's how I took it too. I thought he was talking about food the whole time. I was like, man, he understands me. Nah, but he was talking about something else. But anyway, number 5 on my list. Collard greens.
Okay.
When it's done right.
Oh, absolutely.
Collard greens, bro. It fought for that number 5 spot, but collard greens, man, I love me some good collard greens, man. When it's done right, man, it makes me feel good. And when it's done right means there's some pork in it.
Absolutely.
We're not talking about the healthy kind where it tastes like it just got plucked from the garden. No, we're talking about that thing got some fat in it. That thing, oh, man, I used to wonder, Mom, what you put in that? Back in my day, my mom put some fat back.
Mm-hmm.
Then she evolved to the smoked sausages.
Though
that kind of collard greens, man, I could eat that by itself.
Absolutely. We're talking about the collard greens that don't taste like a vegetable at all.
No,
let's
tastes like
just
meat.
be real. Tastes like meat. Okay, got the meat in there. Maybe just a hint of sugar, just a hint, but not a lot. Just a Salt Bay type, like that. Put a little hot sauce on there.
See, that's the only time I don't mind hot sauce.
Okay.
Collard greens.
All
number
right.
5 for me. What's number 5 for you, BD?
Number 5 for me. And this was hard. I got baked beans.
5?
And it's hard because everybody doesn't do baked beans right, and there aren't I don't like everybody's baked beans. But if you have some really good baked beans, and I think it's more because I'm big on barbecue. So when you have, your brisket and your pulled pork and stuff like that, you got to have the barbecue baked beans to go with it. Sam's Club has like a really good, it's like brisket baked beans or something like that. It's the best baked beans I've ever had. It's really good.
From where?
Sam's Club. Where? Sam's Club.
Like hot baked beans, you got to make it at the house.
Nah, it's like a brand. It's in a container. I can't think of the brand name, but it's brisket.
Please let me know.
I got you, because those joints are good. So yeah, baked beans. I got them at number 5.
Number 5. Wow. That's cool. Because it's not that far. Because my number 4 is a 3-way tie. I know. But listen, this is my list, bro. Man, it was hard. I had to put, if I had to, okay, let me tell you the 3 that I have for number 4, and maybe you can help me make my decision.
You should only have 5 sides on this list.
Baked beans.
Okay.
Lima beans.
Okay.
Black eyed peas. It was, man, bro. A good black eyed peas, bro, is better than good baked beans sometimes, bro. It depends on what mood you in. Depends on what dish you have.
I don't think I wasn't really raised on black eyed peas. I haven't really had a lot of black eyed peas. I've had it a couple times and it wasn't.
The mother who fed you rice and beef tips.
Mm-hmm.
The mother who was considered top 3 dead or alive cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Never made you black eyed peas growing up?
If she did, I don't really remember. Nope.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to call your mom tomorrow and be like, Miss Dixon, you didn't feed your son black-eyed peas growing up?
I mean, I've had them a couple times. I wasn't necessarily
Couple of
blown away.
times.
Yeah.
They got to be cooked right. They got to be almost mushy. They almost got to be like, that's just, oh man. So if I was to pick lima beans as a sleeper bean, bro, people don't respect lima beans like they should.
Is that the same thing as butter beans?
Oh, no, butter beans.
Okay.
They're probably the bigger version of the lima beans. So bump lima beans.
Butter beans are good.
Butter beans.
Those are good.
So those three, if I had to pick a number 4, bro, it may have to be the butter beans.
Okay.
Number 4 on my list. Butter beans or baked beans?
I haven't had butter beans in a long time. That was the grandmother right there.
Butter beans with some good rice and gravy, bro.
Yeah.
We're talking about going with the meal. Baked beans don't go with all meals.
You're right.
We're talking about Sunday afternoon after church meals.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about mama and grandmama was up late the night before preparing. I would have to go with butter beans number 4.
Okay. Cool with that. Number 4 for me is where I had collard greens.
Okay.
And again, talking about collard greens prepared the right way. There should be a ham hock in there. All right. There should be grease aplenty. Okay. A little bit of sugar. Collard greens. Number 4.
Number 3.
Now I ain't talk about the glory either. And glory is okay. Glory, if in a pinch, you can use the glory collard greens. Okay? But I ain't talking about glory. I'm talking about the mama's collard greens.
We talking about that's love. Love can't be in a can.
That's right.
Love is not in a can.
Mm-mm.
Number 3 for me, rice and gravy.
Ooh, I thought about that.
We're talking about rice with gravy with the meat in the gravy. We're talking about beef tips.
And
rice, gravy, and beef tips.
Now
that's a side, BD.
Now, I looked at that as an entree, so I didn't put that in
that's
there.
Not an entree. That's not an entree. That's a side, bro. You mean it? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't look at, I guess chicken and dumplings is an entree, but rice and beef tips, bro.
That's an entree, Josh.
That's a side, bro. That's a side for me because I still got the fried chicken on the plate.
Do you?
You see what I'm saying? We're talking about, come on, man. Did your mom's rice and beef tips, bro? I think that one bite I took had my eyes roll back at that table. I was sitting there across from your mother, and before your mom even could say, how is it, my eyes was... I said, man, BD, man, that was a classic moment of our friendship, bro. I tasted those rice, gravy, and beef tips. I said, what? You hated when I came over because I was taking stuff home. What you was going to have the next day?
Exactly. My leftovers, you take it 2 or 3 plates home.
Bro, you had that every day.
So, I'd like to have it another day. But I won't, because you came in and you butter up my mom and tell her, it was the greatest meal of all time. Oh, Miss Dixon is a top 3 of all time cooks I've ever had. Oh, you put your foot in that, Miss Dixon.
Oh, man, I was ripping them.
As you went on, she was fixing to-go plates. Just, oh, here, take some. Take some more. And I'm just sitting there.
See, that's your fault. That's your fault. If she got that from you, she wouldn't even gave me to-go plates. Well, you were so used to the food that you didn't give her the appreciation that she deserves.
I mean,
you sitting there, daily satisfied with rice and beef tips and stuff like that, and when I come in, fresh from college, and I come into that living room, my mom's busy working and stuff, and I come in there, and you don't think I'm not going to give glory to whom glory is due? And you over there like, Mom, it's good. I mean, no, BD. Your taste buds have been conditioned for this level. See, when you've been around money don't really mean that much to you.
Right.
But when you come from the hood and poverty, and you come to a place of richness of taste, You give glory to whom glory is due. And I looked Miss Dixon in the eyes and I told her, Miss Dixon, flesh and blood revealed this not to you. The Holy Ghost and all your ancestors was there in the kitchen with you, ensuring that everything came to a level of excellence that my stomach doesn't even want to digest. I wish I could still hold some of those meals in my belly. That's how good. When I went to the restroom and I said, I don't even want to let this go. This was so good. I don't even want to let this go. Don't take this from me, Lord. Don't take this from me, Lord. But I had to let it go.
Wow. I've never heard that one before.
Man, I'm telling you, man, that Miss Dixon, man, I was like, my goodness, bro.
Yeah, man.
Man, I might go see them sometime soon, and not let you know.
Hold up, Doug. If I get that call from Mom Dukes, oh, Josh was up here. Tell him to go away.
Guess who's here, Brandon? Hey, BD. Hey, what's up? Got me on the FaceTime. What's up?
Right.
Man, bro, these beef tips right here, BD. I called your mom after the podcast and she told me to come on down. I said, I'm coming. I came, brought my lovely wife, and my wife knocked out. That's how good my boy, you would be steaming down there in Texas.
She would too. If you told her, hey, I want some of your beef, man, she'll cook some up the next day.
And that's what I'm going to do.
No, you're not.
Anyway, what's your number 3, bro?
Number 3. Candied yams. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Oh, we're brothers.
Okay.
No.
I thought you was about to tell me you had forgot about the yams.
You don't forget about yams.
You can't.
Who forgets about yams?
Yams are unforgettable.
My taste bud, the ones that was asleep, have awakened. Bruh. Go ahead, bruh.
Candied yams. Again, not talking about glory, okay? I'm talking about the ones that, they got the sweet potatoes out the night before, chopping them up. Okay, I'm talking about the ones cooked overnight. They got the cinnamon in them, the syrup in them. Some people put what is it? I had some candy yams from this joint last weekend. Next level. It was like some pineapple, I think, was in them or something like that.
See, I've already caught the vision. Caught the vision.
Okay.
People will look at that and be like, no. I caught the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, BD. What's the name of that place? They're not franchised, huh? No? Hole in the wall?
Okay. Nah, it's called Geechee's. They're actually based out of, Geechee, South Carolina, like southern South Carolina, like the Gullah region. And they talk Geechee out there. That's the name of the the name of the restaurant is Geechee's. And bruh. Every side, the mac and cheese, the candy yams, but them candy yams was something else. Or you could have the candy yams, the sweet potato casserole. I'll also throw that in there with the mushroom. I mean, not mushrooms, but marshmallows and the granola with the. Yeah.
Bruh, every time we went to Golden Corral, bruh, the first place we went to was the sweet potato casserole. That was the foundation of our meal.
Absolutely.
It was the bedrock, the bed rest of everything we added on there. Because one thing about candy yams or sweet potato casserole, it mixes well with any dish.
Everything.
It can mix with the gravy in your rice, and
right.
There's no problem.
Yep.
It can mix with the juice of your collard greens, no
yep.
problem.
Yep.
It can even mix with anything.
The meat, absolutely. The meat. I take, Thanksgiving? You can have sweet potato casserole. You get the turkey. You dip that turkey in the sweet potato casserole and you go to town.
You go to town, bro. That's your dip. That's your dipping sauce.
That's the dip.
That's the dip. Get
a little cranberry on there too.
I fell in love with cranberry recently, maybe 3 years ago, bro. Everyone used to be like, why you don't want cranberry? I was like, I don't know. But cranberry mixed with that candy yams? Oh my God.
Cranberry is strictly a complimentary. You don't eat cranberry sauce by itself. No. Cranberry, you put it with the turkey. You put it with the yams. You put it with the mashed potatoes.
Thanksgiving is coming soon, BD.
Yes, it is.
My number 2. I thought this very thoroughly,
Okay.
because it was candy yams is number 2 on my list, but I put potatoes.
Potatoes.
I put potatoes, man, but I put candy yams. I put candy yams number 1 on this list for my number 2. You know, potatoes can be fried, it can be mashed, it can be baked, it can be sweetened. But the king or the queen of the potato category is yams. Oh my goodness, bro.
Okay.
Yams is number 2 on my list, but I had to pay respect to mashed potatoes, bro.
Okay.
But we're talking about, we're not talking about the ones you whip. Watch me whip and watch me nay nay. No. We're talking about some chunks and my potatoes. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about, that was messed up. Mashed potatoes with the chunks in them, bro. But yams still beat the mashed potatoes. But mashed potatoes, bro, on a good day,
Okay.
Candy yams number 2. And it's your number 2, because we already know what's number 1.
We already know. Number 2, maybe a little controversial, but I think I have to put it there. I got French fries. Now, you don't think of it as, a traditional side, like when you're thinking of Thanksgiving, when you're thinking of Christmas, when you're thinking about your soul food Sunday meals, but it is a side. Anytime you have burgers, anytime you have a chicken sandwich, a Philly cheesesteak, chicken strips, chicken wings, what do you have with it? You have fries. That's a side.
I was gonna be upset with you, but candy yams, you know what? Fries come before candy yams, bro. Candy yams you can only get twice a year, maybe once.
That's
That's
what I'm saying.
Fries beat candy yams.
Accessibility.
Candy yams, fries, then mashed potatoes, then candy yams.
You can't always get all these sides, but fries.
Yeah.
If you take fries out of your life, think of a life with no fries.
Don't say stuff like that, bro.
I'm just saying.
No, don't say stuff like that, man.
And that's
some
why
of us, that's traumatic to some of us, especially me.
That's what I'm saying.
Candy yams not even number 2. I put them on the 3rd on my number 2.
What kind of list is this?
I put them 3rd on my number 2. French fries.
I'm so confused.
Mashed potatoes. Then coming in 3rd on my number 2, yams.
I have no idea what your list is at this point.
The people of the Good Guys podcast, they understand where I'm coming from.
No, they don't. They absolutely don't.
Yeah, man. Fries, bro. Let me just take some time to give fries the respect they're due before we go to the king of sides.
Please do.
Fries. What words do I have? They're probably the best side of all time because of their consistency, because of their accessibility. But fries, man, you can do the chili cheese fries. Oh, man, bro. There's this place called Chubb's in Charlotte, and man, their chili cheese fries, bro. Then you got the curly fry. We already did an episode on fries, so you need to go check that episode out. I'm not going to waste our time after we have already gave fries its own episode. But fries, bro, I've recently fell in love. Let me rank my fries. Potato wedges are number 1 to me. Crinkle cut number 2. Crinkle cut number 2. Those are my 2 best fries, bro. The other fries can fall where they fall. But potato wedges and crinkle cut. What am I missing? Curly fries, maybe number 3 or 4.
Waffle fries. I know you're not that big of a fan of waffle fries, but
nah, man. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do this soon. I'm gonna go to the Chick-Fil-A by a place that has good chili and cheese. And I'm going to buy me some potato wedges. Some waffle fries from Chick-fil-A. And I'm going to rush over there quickly. Just ask the young man, can I get a side of chili and cheese? And I want to taste what the waffle fry tastes like, baptized in chili and cheese. I bet you the waffle fry with chili and cheese is like nachos, bro. I'm going to do it. And I'm surprised ain't a restaurant that's done it. But number one, not Easy Mac, not mac and cheese, macaroni and cheese. Y'all need to start showing respect to
Put the proper respect on
Put the
name.
proper respect on the name. Respect the name. Don't call it Easy Mac. Ain't nothing easy.
There's
with
nothing
no mac.
easy about
Ain't nothing
Mac.
easy. Mac and cheese go hard. We hard. They from the streets. You know mac and cheese go hard when the Italian community doesn't even accept it as a dish. What Italian restaurant have you been to that has macaroni and cheese? Macaroni and cheese is an outcast. That's why I relate to macaroni and cheese. Have you ever been to an Italian restaurant and they had macaroni and cheese? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. It's a soul food.
Well, yeah, soul food restaurants do.
Not an Italian place.
No.
But it's pasta based, right? Ain't nothing easy about no mac and cheese. It ain't, whoa. See what y'all did to me? Ain't nothing easy with macaroni and cheese. Y'all gotta put some respect on mac when it's done right, bro. There's been so many times where they had to pull me away from the mac and cheese. I mean, I'm hanging on to the aluminum pan. No, I have my rights. No, I'm not letting go. No.
And
when macaroni and cheese is done right, bro, listen, I don't care what. My wife be like, you want to make my plate? No, I'm making my plate. Because Wise want to give you that small little corner piece.
Nope.
No, I got this. I was in the early days of our marriage and any time later years of our dating, she got offended. Like, why you don't make my plate? Because you don't make it right.
You haven't taken the necessary steps to learn me and my wants and my desires. See, that's what we talked about earlier in the podcast. You have to pay attention to your spouse, okay? Because if you want to fix your man's plate, that's okay, but you have to have taken the necessary steps. You have to have paid attention to his likes, his desires, and his preferences. You have to know that when it comes to the macaroni and cheese, that it is his number one side. Yeah. Okay? Don't give him that burnt little corner piece that's got the little dried out noodles. No. You go straight to the middle of the pan.
To the heart of the pan.
Heart of the pan. You create a large square of macaroni and cheese. By the way, there should be no macaroni and cheese that does not come from a pan. Okay? If it doesn't come from a pan, it's not macaroni and cheese. Okay? It should be a block of just macaroni and cheesy goodness with just a little bit of crispy burntness on the top with the butter just drizzling down.
Teach him, Deacon.
Intertwined in between the noodles.
Teach him, Deacon.
So if you are talking about macaroni and cheese, we're not talking about just any macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Okay? We're not talking about Easy Mac. Okay? We're not talking about Kraft macaroni and cheese. Okay?
Teach 'em, Bishop.
We're not talking about Boston Market and that mess that they call macaroni and cheese with the spirals and the cheese.
Teach.
We are talking about baked macaroni and cheese.
Hey, Bishop. Deacon
Put
became
some
a bishop.
respect on the name of macaroni and cheese.
Ooh. May the Lord watch. Listen, I might get the benediction right here. You preached a word on today, Deacon. Ooh, these people don't understand. Don't give me no corner. I don't want no crunch in my macaroni and cheese. Take me to the King. Take me to the heart. Take me to the place where I belong. Take me to where I need to be. You see what I'm saying? We got to get to a place with our walk and our relationships where you understand that don't come back with a plate because I'm going to be filled with disgust. You did this to yourself. When your man looks at the plate, and he looks at you, don't even get mad. You know you take his plate back. No, that's why men regain your plates. Get your plate, bro. I don't think they ever get it until they have kids, possibly. You got to go to that, man. When I get to the oven, when I get to the place where the food is, BD, I try to be nice. But listen, I'm skipping lines, bro. Cause y'all, listen, I'm skipping lines. Let me get to my macaroni, bro.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing like that middle piece. People be so mad at me. if I'm the first one there, in the center. Get the spatula. Oh, yeah. Okay. Because you know what? You know what you do? Because you know when it's good macaroni, it ain't a block. It ain't stuck together. There's some parts that's just left.
You gotta, and you get that too. You get that too. Yep.
That's the best part sometimes. Ooh,
macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese, man.
It's not even close. Like there's macaroni at number 1, and then it's just everyone else.
Everyone else, man. There's nothing else that comes close to good macaroni and cheese. That's why I don't know how I'm going to feel about this taste testing of Chick-Fil-A's macaroni and cheese. It don't even sound right. Chick-Fil-A's macaroni and cheese. I'm like, bruh.
I'm really not sure what it goes with on the menu, to be honest. Like a Chick-fil-A sandwich with macaroni and cheese? I don't know. Is that really something that I want?
Yeah, man. Like, that's too much carbs. I got bread on my chicken sandwich. I'm getting fries just in case that macaroni and cheese trash.
You know what I mean? Gonna get fries.
I'm going to get fries. I want to know what the size of that bowl is.
I don't know.
Either way, macaroni and cheese, number 1. Fries, a distant second. Very distant second. Candy yams real close to the fries. Real close. Very close. And what was the rest of them for me?
Butter beans, I think you had number 4.
Butter beans and then collard greens. Oh, oh, man. Rice and beef tips may be number 2. Nah, because I can't get it all the time. But, bruh, when you get to a place where you get some good rice and some... Oh, Lord. I feel his presence in my house right now. Oh, man. Bruh, I'm so hungry, bruh.
I'm so hungry right now.
Let's end this podcast, man. because
Jay,
bruh,
you got a nugget of truth for the people, or you already done gave it to them?
Man, I done gave it to the people. BD, you left us with a great word today on macaroni and cheese. But if I have any left over, you know when the campus pastor comes up. Oh, them churches, boy, I tell you, them campus pastors be some of the most suspect, happy people. I'm like, why y'all so happy all the time? Y'all know y'all not happy being a second man in chief.
Stop.
Second in man command. You know good and well you want to be the lead pastor.
Wow.
You the follow pastor. He the lead pastor. Anyway, I don't have no nugget of truth, man. Just communicate with God. He'll help you with your communication with others. That's it.
All right. Well, that's all we have got for today. As usual, thank you for watching the Good Guys Podcast. If you are watching this right now, thank you for sticking with us throughout the whole episode. I know our episodes are long, but the faithful notification gang and our faithful subscribers, I thank you for watching the entire episode and rocking with us. I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope you got something from it. If you have been watching the podcast and you have not subscribed, what are you doing? Come on, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get post notifications. Join the notification gang. All right?
Gang.
Hop in the comments. Let us know.
Top 5. Yeah.
Let us know your top 5 sides. Let us know if you got it. What it was that you got from the podcast. Let us know if Josh's spicy chicken sandwich model of communication made you hungry.
Maybe.
You know. So, but other than that, I'm a father of 4, happily married man. He is Joshua Ezzy. He is the Reverend. We're the Good Guys Podcast.
Bro, don't give the illusion that I'm not happily married, BD. Come on, BD. You got to work on this.
I don't know. It's been what I've said since the beginning of the podcast. In the beginning of the podcast, you weren't married, so
it's time to make a change, BD.
I am Brandon Dixon. I am a father of 4 and a happily married man. He is the Reverend, a happily married man, also.
We'll be back next week
with a better.
Yeah.
We'll work on this, and we'll be back next week, better than ever. We're the Good Guys Podcast, and we are out.
Peace.